Parliament buildings of England and Scotland can be framed as architectural representatives of traditionalist and modernist ideologies. As the centres of national government, Parliament buildings project an image of the nation to the world. The English Parliament building, Westminster, is truly iconic, instantly recognisable in any medium or genre, even in silhouette form. It takes its place alongside the world's most iconic buildings. It is a powerful architectural expression of English government, recognised worldwide as the mother of all parliaments. A visitor knowing nothing about this land would know at a glance that something very important happens here, involving important historical figures. It exhibits the qualities of traditionalism, such as a love for beauty, order, unity, and balance. It stands foursquare and upright as an entity unto itself. It has a personality of its own, austere and sober yet majestic. Like the great cathedrals, its Gothic towers and spires are transcendent, soaring upwards to a higher ideal. It is a being of its own, but fits into its surroundings. It belongs in the city. There it stands among its own people, marking the passing of history on its famous clock face, Big Ben, familiar to millions who saw it every night in the evening news, when television was king. The Scottish Parliament was built in Edinburgh, which meant the stage was already set for an iconic Parliament building. This glorious and ancient city with a great castle commanding the centre ground, a real jewel in the crown of traditionalism. To walk through the city is to step back in time, to be entranced by the magic of the medieval. Its buildings project the same beauty, order and unity valued by the Westminster traditionalists. Visitors who had never seen the Scottish Parliament might have approached it through these streets. What a treat they would expect. If these are merely the houses and these are the shops, how splendid will the most important building be? No, you never took a wrong turn. No, this isn't the back end of a rundown council scheme. But who could blame them for thinking this can't be the Parliament? Look at it! The dodgy scheme vibe includes the suppressed panic of the concrete underpass. Even on a blue sky day, this place is grim. If Westminster stands up tall as an impressive personality with ambition and confidence, the Scottish Parliament is the opposite. Its disfigured facades cry in pain, like the humorous warning images you see on fag packets. This is modernism, or more specifically postmodernism, which is, despite their protestations, a Marxist endeavour. That means its purpose is to destroy society, and the best way to do that is to destroy our history. As Orwell wrote in 1984, who controls the past controls the future. So modernism, or postmodernism, is at war with our past.
The past is forbidden. Why? Because when we can cut man from his own past, then we can cut him from his family, his children, other men. There is no loyalty except loyalty to the party.
Postmodern architecture is revolutionary. It turns traditional values upside down. This means it delights in subverting our expectations. Because of our shared past, we expect certain buildings to look certain ways. We expect a building of national importance to look, well, important. But the postmodern artist wants to take our narrow-minded expectations and turn them into something more interesting.
Cut it in half and dump some diarrhea on top of it, and that will make it interesting.
Instead of beauty, ugliness. Instead of order, chaos. Instead of unity, diversity. As it is in architecture, so it is in life. If we lose our connection to our past, we become as lifeless as the buildings holding our future. A sweep of the Scottish Parliament exterior offers nothing in the way of redeeming features. Less like a seat of power and more like an Irvine Welsh dystopia. Choose death. Choose no family, no faith, no history, no meaning or purpose. Choose ominous concrete blocks, steel blades and razor wire. Choose high-rise third-world shanty towns with EU flags in the windows. Choose a Catalonian revolutionary as your architect. Choose everything and anything as long as it desecrates the past. Roger Scruton, the late Conservative philosopher, appreciated the threat.
The greatest crime against beauty that the world has yet seen, and that is the crime of modern architecture.
For Scruton, postmodernism is not only ugly, it is immoral because of its opposition to love and beauty.
An attempt to remake the world as though love were no longer a part of it. And this, it seems to me, is the most important feature of our postmodern culture, that it is a loveless culture, determined to portray the human world as unlovable.
Scottish Labour politician Donald Dewar is the ideological opposite of Scruton. The Scottish lefty supervised this architectural assault on Scotland. Here, a starry-eyed Dewar eulogises the Scottish Parliament's architect.
I am the architect.
He wasn't looking for a great landmark building. He wasn't trying to build the highest tower in the whole of central Scotland as a mark of the importance of the Parliament.
Notice what he says here. Sure, we could have built you something ambitious and iconic. Maybe something like Westminster. But no, you don't want that. We've got something more interesting in mind.
Dump some diarrhea on top of it, and that will make it interesting.
The left always use the vacuous platitude, power to the people. But it is the left's elites that make decisions on people's behalf. Not least because ordinary people and leftist ideologues do not want the same thing. And in Marxism, the nation's poor must be driven into the pits of despair if they are to be of any use to the revolution. A happy, flourishing working class is the cause of distress to the left. In true leftist fashion, Dewar explains away the monster in our midst with nebulous terminology.
He was looking at this tremendous site with the slope of the
Slide
grade
of prefamulated amulite, surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panometric...
Airy-fairy modernist Dewar was clearly seduced by the psychobabble of postmodern artists. Unlike base traditionalist Scruton, who is having none of it.
That's part of the artist's function, is to make beautiful, make one see something as beautiful, something that nobody thought was beautiful up until now.
Right, like a can of shit.
So, we could have had something timeless, but instead they gave us something temporary. Like the rest of the makeshift town centres being thrown up and torn down across our towns and cities. The wooden branches obscuring the windows of the Parliament building may be a prophetic nod at the wooden boards to come.
This building is boarded up because nobody has a use for it. Nobody has a use for it because nobody wants to be in it. Nobody wants to be in it because the thing is so damned ugly.
Looking at the grey walls and walkways of this cheerless concrete jungle, all that's really missing here is graffiti. With vandalism being a classic sign that your area is reaping the rewards of diversity.
Everything has been vandalised. But we shouldn't blame the vandals. This place was built by vandals, and those who added the graffiti merely finished the job. Most of our towns and cities have areas like this, in which buildings erected merely for their utility have rapidly become useless.
Everything about postmodernist architecture must be foreign to what came before. Again, the intellectual elites work against the values of the people. It is the elites who are indulging their addiction to the foreign, the strange, the marginalised. This globalist attitude led them to choose a foreign architect. Moreover, a Catalonian revolutionary. Globalist mouthpiece Donald Dewar comments on how small-minded it would have been to get a Scot to design the Scottish Parliament.
And it would have been, I believe, a very parochial move to say it had to be a Scot. This was a building of real significance, a building that would be noticed beyond Scotland. And what we wanted was the right architect.
I am the architect.
The more foreign, the more virtuous in the eyes of these internationalist socialists. Postmodern architecture, like the ideology that spawned it, is a global pandemic that infects the traditional order with that which is chaotic, jumbled, twisted, bent, perverted. These buildings pervert our environment as progressivism perverts our communities, our families and our personal lives. Here, they brazenly show you that they are turning the past upside down, right in front of your eyes, as we stand by and watch. See how the modern Parliament building on the left jars with the traditional building on the right? Postmodernists delight in this aggressive invasion of the natural by the unnatural. Again, it is the same with their ideology. It is among us by imposition rather than by invitation. They desecrate the soothing order of our past with the terrifying chaos of their future, cutting into tradition like a machete. This is the sort of building Sadiq Khan would describe as part and parcel of modern architecture. The Parliament building caused much confusion since it was first revealed to the general public. There must have been some awkward conversations between the workers who staffed the building and the enlightened elite that built it. Aye, hello, is that the architect? Is Bobby the janitor at the Parliament? It says here the building's finished, but your boys have left a load of branches lying about. I don't know if you've got Chinese boys working for you. It's like bamboo, maybe scaffolding or something, but it's all over the canopies, across the doors and the windies. I'm no bothered myself, but the windy cleaner's gone off his head. Oh, I see. Right, it's part of the... Oh, right, it's the curve of the... Okay, it's a metaphysical subversion of natural expectation. Aye, I can see that now you're saying it, actually. Aye, sorry to bother you. Right, no bother. I'll pass that on to the boys. Right, bye. What better way to finish than with the postmodern fetish for the overhang, illustrated by the Soviet bloc at the back of the Parliament. They delight in breaking the laws of nature, such as the law of gravity. All of this reveals something very telling, though. They can only push the limits so far before the whole thing collapses. This is because natural laws such as gravity are not just social constructs, they are tethered to reality. The postmodernist knows this to be the case, because you'll notice in their buildings that they so recklessly break the rules of beauty and form above the ground, but they would never break the rules with the foundations. They know themselves that would be total destruction. And so, armed with an awareness of the power of foundational damage in architecture, they undermine our social foundations with their ideological projects. The counter to postmodern contempt for tradition is to celebrate and appreciate the beauty, meaning, order and purpose that our forebears handed down to us. Our traditions are our foundations. They support our civilization. But they are also very delicate structures because they have evolved organically over thousands of years. How could we throw this away so quickly? Roger Scruton warns that institutions, once destroyed, cannot be recreated. Reviving a tradition is like trying to repair a spider's web with your bare hands.